So today we're going to dive deep into all things Red Cane Corso.
Oh, fun.
We've got a podcast episode here called Red Cane Corso Information, uncovering the unique characteristics of this majestic breed.
Okay.
And you also sent me over a few articles.
Right.
All because you're thinking this might be the dog for you.
It might be.
So let's see if we can kind of get a picture of what it would really be like to live with one of these dogs.
Yeah. What would it really be like?
So,
Let's see.
they are striking looking dogs.
They are?
They're big.
Oh, yeah.
What are we talking about size-wise?
So we're talking a dog that can get up to 120 pounds.
Wow.
24 to 28 inches tall at the shoulder.
Okay.
And then that red coat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just gorgeous.
Yes, you can't help but notice these dogs.
Not at all.
So, but a big dog also means a big personality, right?
Yeah.
So what are we dealing with temperament-wise? What's the...
I think one of the things that's so fascinating about Red Cane Corsos is that they're known for being incredibly loyal and protective, which makes them excellent guard dogs. But they're also super intelligent and confident.
Okay.
Which can also manifest as being a little, shall we say, haughty and stubborn.
Haughty and stubborn.
Yeah.
That sounds like a recipe for some serious training challenges.
It can be.
I'm envisioning like the dog is leading me around on a walk instead of the other way around.
Yeah, you can't just slap a leash on a cane corso and expect them to fall in line.
Right.
These dogs need an owner who's going to be a consistent, confident leader.
Okay.
They respond really well to knowing what the rules are.
Right.
And who's in charge.
Okay, so not for like a wishy-washy kind of owner.
No.
Someone who's not going to follow through with a command.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about, you said they were stubborn.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
So positive reinforcement is absolutely key with this breed.
Okay.
And I don't just mean give them treats.
Yeah.
It's about understanding why this approach works so well for them.
Okay.
Cane Corsos are smart.
Right.
They like to figure things out.
Yeah.
So when you use positive reinforcement, you're essentially tapping into that intelligence.
Okay.
You're creating a system where they are motivated to cooperate because they know it leads to good things.
So it's like a puzzle for them, but the reward is praise or playtime instead of a treat hidden in a toy.
Exactly.
And it makes them feel like they're using their brains.
Yes.
That's cool.
And because they're so smart, they pick up on things quickly.
Okay.
But that also means that they need a lot of mental stimulation.
Right.
You can't just walk them for a mile and call it a day.
Right.
They need something to engage their minds.
Okay.
Whether that's puzzle toys, training sessions, even things like scent work where they have to use their noses.
Okay, so I'm sensing a theme here.
What's that?
Owning a Red Cane Corso is not for the faint of heart.
No.
Or the couch potato.
Not at all.
What kind of physical exercise are we talking about?
These dogs were bred to work, so they definitely need a good outlet for that energy. Think at least 2 miles of running or brisk walking every single day.
Wow, every day.
And they don't just tolerate exercise, they genuinely enjoy it. It's in their DNA.
So Red Cane Corso curled up on the couch, binge watching Netflix all day.
Probably not.
Probably not the picture of happiness.
No.
So we've talked about training and exercise, which makes sense given their size and temperament.
Right.
But what about the less glamorous side of dog ownership? Grooming.
Okay.
What's the deal with this double-layered coat I keep hearing about?
It's not as high maintenance as you might think. The coat is short, so you won't be spending hours brushing out tangles.
Okay.
But you will want to give them a good brush at least once a week.
Okay, so manageable, but not a wash-and-go kind of dog.
Right.
So let's talk about health now.
Okay.
Are there any specific concerns with this breed we should be aware of?
So like many larger breeds, Red Cane Corsos are unfortunately prone to certain health issues.
Okay.
Particularly hip dysplasia and bloat.
Okay, I've heard of those.
Yeah. So hip dysplasia affects their joints and can cause pain and mobility problems.
Right.
And bloat is a serious condition that can affect their stomach.
Right.
And it can be life-threatening if not treated immediately.
So that's something that potential owners need to be aware of.
For sure.
Are these conditions preventable, or is it just bad luck of the draw?
Well, you can't entirely eliminate the risk.
Right.
But responsible breeding practices are crucial in minimizing the chances of these issues developing.
So what does that look like? What do you mean by responsible breeding practices?
Joe, a good breeder will carefully select breeding pairs based on their health history
Okay.
and will do screenings for potential genetic problems.
And then regular vet checkups are also essential,
Right.
right? To
Definitely.
catch any potential issues early on
Right.
when treatment is usually more effective.
Exactly.
That's really good advice for any dog owner,
Yeah,
regardless of the breed.
absolutely.
Speaking of responsible breeding,
Yeah,
I know it's a hot topic in the dog world.
it is.
Why is it so important, especially with a breed like the Red Cane Corso,
Right.
where certain health concerns can be a factor?
Well, it all boils down to prioritizing the well-being of the dogs above everything else.
Mm-hmm.
A responsible breeder is focused on producing healthy, well-adjusted puppies,
Right.
not just on making a profit.
Okay.
They understand the breed standard inside and out,
Right.
and they're committed to preserving the best qualities of the Red Cane Corso.
So it's about more than just finding two dogs that look good together
Yeah.
and hoping for the best.
Oh, way more.
So a responsible breeder understands genetics,
Yes.
they do health screenings,
Uh-huh.
and they're transparent about their practices.
They are.
They're happy to answer any questions you have and provide documentation of health tests and pedigrees.
Exactly.
So they're invested in the long-term health and happiness of their dogs, not just the quick sale of a puppy.
100%.
That's a really important distinction.
Yeah.
So if you're considering a Red Cane Corso, finding a reputable breeder is step one. Right.
It really is.
It's worth doing your research, reaching out to breed clubs, and asking a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Finding the right breeder can save you heartache and potential problems down the road.
Absolutely.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
We've talked about temperament,
Yeah.
those striking looks,
Yeah.
the importance of training and socialization,
Right.
and those potential health concerns.
Mm-hmm.
What stands out to you so far about the Red Cane Corso?
I think for me, it's the combination of their intelligence and loyalty that's so intriguing.
Yeah.
You know, they're not just a pretty face.
Yeah.
There's a depth to them that's really captivating.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it just highlights how important it is to really do your homework before bringing any dog into your life.
Right.
But especially a breed like this with its unique needs
Yeah.
and potential challenges.
Exactly.
It's not a decision to be made lightly.
No.
You need to be prepared to meet their needs and be a responsible, dedicated owner.
100%.
Okay, so before we move on to the history of the Red Cane Corso, there's one more thing I want to touch on.
Okay.
We've been talking a lot about the potential challenges.
Right.
But let's be realistic, owning any dog isn't all sunshine and roses.
It's not. No.
So for anyone listening who's thinking, wow, a Red Cane Corso sounds amazing,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the potential downsides they should be aware of?
Yeah. So these are powerful dogs.
Okay.
So you need to be comfortable with that level of strength and be able to handle them confidently.
Okay.
If you're not someone who can set boundaries and enforce rules, this might not be the best breed for you.
Makes sense. What about the financial commitment?
Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing owning a large breed like this comes with some significant expenses.
It does. Food costs add up quickly with a dog this size.
Right.
And then there's vet care training classes and potentially things like dog walkers or boarding if you travel frequently.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about the initial cost of the dog. It's
Right.
the ongoing expenses that can really add up.
So not exactly a budget-friendly breed?
No.
And what about the time commitment? How much attention does a Red Cane Corso need?
So they thrive on interaction and need a lot of attention.
Okay.
They're not a dog you can leave alone for long hours every day.
Okay.
They need mental and physical stimulation, so you'll need to dedicate a good chunk of time to exercising training and just being with them.
So if you're someone who works long hours or travels a lot, that could be a deal breaker.
It could be, yeah.
All right, so we've talked about the potential downsides,
Right.
which is important for anyone considering this breed.
Absolutely.
But there's obviously something about these dogs that draws people to them
Yeah.
despite the challenges.
There is.
What is it?
Well, they're incredibly loyal, protective, and intelligent dogs.
Yeah.
And when you build a strong bond with a Red Cane Corso,
Yeah.
it's a truly special relationship.
So if you're willing to put in the time, effort, and resources, a Red Cane Corso can be an amazing companion.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, this has been a fascinating first look into the world of the Red Cane Corso.
It has.
We've learned about their temperament,
Yeah.
those striking looks, the importance of training and socialization,
Right.
and the commitment involved in owning one.
Yeah,
We've only just scratched the surface.
we have.
There's so much more to discover about this incredible breed.
There is.
Stay tuned, because in the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve even deeper into the world of the Red Cane Corso.
Oh, great.
We'll explore their history, their origins, and the specifics of responsible breeding practices.
Looking forward to it.
Don't miss it.
I won't.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of the Red Cane Corso.
Glad to be back.
So we left off talking about responsible breeding.
Right.
And I think that's the perfect segue into the history of this breed.
Yeah.
How do you even begin to trace the lineage of a dog like this?
Well, it's a long one.
Yeah. Where do they come from?
Buckle up, because the Cane Corso has a history that's both fascinating and a bit intimidating.
Oh.
We're talking centuries old,
Okay.
going all the way back to ancient Rome.
Wait, ancient Rome.
Yeah.
Like gladiators and chariots.
You got it.
What were these dogs doing back then?
So they were descended from Roman war dogs,
Oh, wow.
used in battle as guard dogs, and even for hunting large game like wild boar.
Wow, so they were like running into battle with Roman soldiers.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
Pretty intense.
No wonder they have such a strong protective instinct.
Right.
So how did we get from Roman war dogs
Yeah.
to the Red Cane Corso we know today?
It's a long and winding road, but essentially the Cane Corso evolved over centuries, adapting to different roles as the Roman Empire declined.
Okay.
They were used as working dogs on farms guarding property-herding livestock.
Okay.
The red coat color was always present in the breed, but it wasn't until more recently that breeders started to focus on producing dogs, specifically with this striking coloration.
Okay, so the Red Cane Corso isn't a separate breed.
Right.
It's just a color variation
Exactly.
within the Cane Corso breed.
Yep. The American Kennel Club actually recognizes a range of colors for the Cane Corso,
Oh.
including black, gray fawn, and of course red.
So no matter what color their coat is, they all share the same basic temperament and characteristics.
Precisely, our responsible breeder will focus on producing dogs that meet the breed standard regardless of coat color.
Right.
That's why finding a breeder who prioritizes those standards is so crucial.
Right.
They're the guardians of the breed's integrity.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So it's like they're carrying the torch for those ancient Roman war dogs.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making sure that the best qualities of the breed are preserved.
Ensuring that the Red Cane Corso we see today embodies those centuries of history and lineage.
Speaking of history and lineage,
Yeah.
is there anything else about their past that might shed light on their behavior today?
Oh, for sure.
Like, I mean, these dogs were bred for serious work.
They were.
Do any of those instincts still carry over?
Definitely one thing that's important to remember is that Cane Corsos in general have a strong prey drive.
It's in their blood, going back to those days of hunting wild boar.
So what does that mean in practical terms for someone who's thinking about owning a Red Cane Corso?
Yeah.
Are we talking about a dog that's going to chase squirrels in the park?
Well, it's not quite that simple.
Yeah.
Every dog is an individual,
Right.
but it's definitely something to be aware of.
Okay.
If you have cats or other small pets, you'll need to be very careful and make sure your Cane Corso is properly trained and socialized.
So early and consistent training is essential.
Absolutely.
And what about containing that prey drive when you're out for a walk?
So a fenced-in yard is definitely recommended.
Okay.
You don't want them taking off after a rabbit or a squirrel.
Right.
And even within a fenced area, it's important to supervise them and make sure they're not exhibiting any aggressive behaviors towards smaller animals.
So it sounds like owning a Red Cane Corso requires a certain level of vigilance,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to managing their instincts.
You have to be really aware of their needs.
Yeah, you can't just
Yeah.
take this breed for granted. No, not at all.
So we've talked about their history, their origins as Roman war dogs,
Right.
the importance of responsible breeding, and
Yeah,
those lingering instincts that can sometimes pose a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
What else should potential owners know about this breed before we move on to the nitty-gritty of training and living with a Red Cane Corso?
One thing we haven't touched on yet is their incredible intelligence.
Okay.
They're not just powerful and protective, they're incredibly quick learners.
So we know they need mental stimulation.
Yes.
But what does that actually look like in everyday life?
Right.
How do you keep a dog this smart, engaged, and happy?
Well, there are tons of options.
Yeah.
Puzzle toys are great because they challenge the dog to figure out how to get to the treats.
Okay.
Training sessions, even short ones, are fantastic for keeping their minds active.
Wow.
And things like scent work or agility training can be incredibly enriching.
So it's about finding activities that tap into their natural instincts
Yeah,
and make them think.
exactly.
I bet they excel at those kinds of challenges.
They do.
And the beauty of it is You're strengthening your bond with your dog while you're doing it.
100%.
It sounds like training a Red Cane Corso is as much about understanding their psychology as it is about teaching them commands.
Yes.
You have to work with their intelligence, not against it.
You hit the nail on the head.
It's about building a partnership based on trust and mutual respect.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a fascinating journey into the past and present of the Red Cane Corso.
It has.
We've uncovered their ancient Roman roots,
Yeah.
the importance of responsible breeding, and those incredible instincts that make them such unique dogs.
Yeah, it's amazing how much history and personality is packed into one dog.
I know, it's incredible.
It is.
But wait, there's more.
Oh.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll discuss what it takes to truly thrive with a Red Cane Corso in your life.
All right.
We'll cover tips for successful training, socialization, and building a strong bond with this powerful breed.
Looking forward to it.
Don't miss it. Welcome back to our deep dive on the Red Cane Corso.
It's good to be back.
We've talked about their history,
Right.
those incredible Roman war dog roots.
Right.
They're sometimes stubborn, but always intelligent in nature, and the absolute importance of responsible breeding.
Absolutely.
Now, let's get practical.
Okay.
If you decide to bring one of these majestic pups into your life,
Yeah.
what does it actually take to make it work?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. It's one thing to admire them from afar,
Right.
but living with a Red Cane Corso is a whole different ballgame.
It is a different experience.
So let's break it down.
Okay.
We've touched on training throughout this deep dive,
Right.
but I want to get your take on what makes training a Cane Corso unique. What are some things that people need to know going in?
Well, remember how we talked about their intelligence and that independent streak?
Yeah.
That definitely plays a role in how you approach training.
Okay.
These dogs need a leader, someone who's consistent and clear with their commands.
Okay.
They're not going to respond well to someone who's wishy-washy or constantly changing the rules.
So setting boundaries early on is crucial.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not about being harsh. It's about being firm and fair.
Okay.
They need to understand what's expected of them.
Right.
And once those boundaries are set, you have to stick to them.
Okay.
Consistency is key. Otherwise, they'll just get confused and start testing the limits.
Yeah, I can see how that could lead to problems.
Yeah, definitely.
So lots of patience and a good dose of firmness.
Yeah.
What else is important in training a Red Cane Corso?
So early socialization is absolutely vital.
Okay.
You want to expose them to as many different people, places, and experiences as possible when they're young.
Yeah.
This helps them develop into well-adjusted, confident dogs
Okay.
who are comfortable in a variety of situations.
So puppy classes, trips to the park, meeting friendly dogs and people, it all plays a role.
It all adds up. And don't forget about mental stimulation. Oh, right.
We've talked about it before, but it's worth repeating.
Yeah.
These are smart dogs. They get bored easily.
Right.
And a bored Cane Corso can be a destructive Cane Corso.
Okay. So keep those brains working.
Yes.
Right. Those puzzle toys, training sessions, anything that makes them think.
Exactly.
It sounds like owning a Red Cane Corso is almost like having a permanent toddler.
Oh.
Lots of energy, needs constant stimulation.
Right.
Tests boundaries at every turn.
There are definitely some similarities.
But like any toddler with the right guidance and a whole lot of patience, they blossom into amazing companions.
They do?
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So we've covered training, socialization, and keeping those big brains engaged.
Right.
What about the emotional side of things?
Yeah.
How do you build a strong bond with a dog that can be so independent and headstrong?
You spend quality time with them,
Okay.
engage in activities they enjoy, whether it's going for hikes, playing fetch,
Right.
or even just cuddling on the couch.
Yeah.
They may have that tough exterior.
But they're incredibly affectionate dogs
Okay.
who crave connection with their humans.
So it's about more than just providing for their basic needs.
It is.
It's about building a real partnership.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of positive reinforcement.
Okay.
These dogs thrive on praise, and knowing they've pleased their owner,
Right.
a simple, good dog, can go a long way in building that bond of trust and mutual respect.
Yeah, it really does sound like owning a Red Cane Corso is a two-way street.
It is.
You have to be willing to put in the time, effort, and consistency,
Mm-hmm.
but the rewards are immense.
There's no doubt about it. It's a commitment.
Yeah.
But for the right person, it's an incredibly rewarding experience.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to bring it back to you listening.
Okay.
We've learned so much about the Red Cane Corso.
We have.
From those ancient Roman roots
Mm-hmm.
to their unique blend of power, intelligence, and loyalty.
Yeah, it's a fascinating breed.
It is. Knowing all of this,
Yeah.
do you think this is the breed for you?
That's the question.
If the answer is yes,
Okay.
and you're ready to embark on this journey, remember everything we've talked about.
Right.
Find a responsible breeder.
Yes.
Commit to training and socialization.
Uh-huh.
And be prepared to put in the time and effort to build a strong, lasting bond with your Cane Corso.
It's so worth it.
It's a journey filled with challenges,
It is.
but also incredible rewards.
Absolutely.
And hey, who knows, maybe you'll discover you have a knack for training those stubborn streaks.
You might surprise yourself.
That's it for our deep dive into the world of the Red Cane Corso.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing and stay curious.